Hello guys, so because last week there wasn't a tournament report, I will compare the last two in this video. So the previous ACG League top cut consisted of two normal players, one Roid player and one water variant. And in this one we had one Roid player, one dark player, one light player and one water player. So quite the difference. Although water was in this case more like normal beatdown than pure water like in the last tournament. Now let's look at the decks that managed to top both of the tournaments. Okay, so let's start with Edju's second place list of ACG League 3. He played Roid, which is a interesting choice for Roid. I wouldn't say it's a standard pick. Then he played Roid, which is, I would say, not a necessity, but at least it's Earth. Then Roid, which is a pretty good card, especially with the field spell. It can get pretty insane. Then Roid, probably just for limit reverse, Submarine Roid, Express Roid, and a good old Beetle. Then he played Petalev. I wonder how that has worked out for him. I honestly don't know. Then Free Poly for the big boy. One Parallel Twister for generic removal, one Twister, two Box Spirit. I honestly don't know if that was a good choice. Yeah. Gravity X Growl, just probably to like enable plays with Roid or to get over some problematic cards. Free Megaroid City, I mean that's a must. One Wonder Garage to get popped with the Megaroid City. Free Windstorm, which is pretty standard. Supercharge at free, which is also standard, and two Limit Reverse. Yeah, and I mean that's really it. I can't see any abnormalities or anything in the side or extra deck. So I would just say let's move on. Let's look at the third place list of ACG League 3, and this place went to water. The list that you see here was played by Alex, and yeah, so let's talk about this. He played 3 Gargigos, just pure beatsticks I believe. No other reason to play them in this deck. Then God Dragon Justitia just for synchro plays and the defense value. Jossman pretty much just to beat over things. Yeah. One Mermail Abyss Sturge, I don't exactly know why only one. Yeah. I don't exactly know, to be honest. Likunga, I mean, it's basically a must of at 3 in my opinion, because like just the potential of it is crazy. So why not run 3? Then Oystermeister also very good, because it just generates advantage when it leaves the field. The Needle Sunfish is also very good. Like it's maybe underestimated at first if you read the effect, but like just having the ability of cycling this card and constantly weakening opponents' monsters is just so good. It's almost unbelievable. Then Fishbug Archer is also a solid card. It comes back during the... You can revive it at the main phase at the cost of one water monster. So nothing bad about that. 3 Murray of Greed, just for the draw power. I honestly don't know what to think about this card. I mean, it's not bad. It thins your deck out by 1 card, so why not? But it could potentially break you. Then Parallel Twister, yeah, very good card in this lineup, because you have a lot of potentially dead cards, like here, or even here or there. So yeah, definitely a good choice to play 3. 2 Salvage, yeah, just to gain advantage, add back something. Water Hazard to pump out monsters. Yumiruka to beat over things. Windstorm of Etaka, basic choice, very good. And Scalar as a tag option. Yeah, it might interfere or clash a bit with Likunga, but yeah, that's okay in my opinion. still has its time to shine. And then the extra deck is nothing special, like just standard synchro lineup, Armored Kappa and 3 times the Water Link, and yeah, the side deck is also just to counter various matchups. And yeah, nothing much else to say about that one. So now I am here in front of Boiling Water, the list that won the third ACG League, and with me is the famous Michael B, who will explain all the theories behind the deck.
Yeah, so basically this is kind of a deck me and my brother theorized just in kind of a vacuum, which is kind of an interesting thing. This didn't see really any testing in between other decks, which was kind of a risk I took. But we kind of saw the power of cards like Dragoons to allow you to get so much card advantage, and just the raw strength of high stat lines. So I took this kind of normal deck, and then I also added in a kind of a wind engine, which I'll explain in a second, and basically created like the highest number of removals you can play in a deck in the format, with just high attack beaters. So it's basically the most beat down deck in the format.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's really simple. Very rarely linking monsters off, very rarely going into synchros. You just play really slow kind of resource, and a lot of decks can struggle to beat over, like even something like a Phantom Griffin, and you just take advantage of that. And then whenever they do go into a big play, like a synchro or a link, you just remove it with one of the removal cards.
Yeah, that's the theory.
Yeah, so I think first thing for the main deck, the biggest risk I took was playing the Wind Art with the Jaku. So basically my idea here was, I saw that the Wind Art was such a powerful card, being one of the only disruptive trap cards, and I thought that was really powerful, being able to stop things when people go into tributes. They don't even get value by swinging over a monster and doing damage. You take it out before you even goes over to your turn. But I couldn't really decide on what wins I wanted to play, and I kind of came to the conclusion that if you played the Kujaku, you can just search the Phantom Griffin, searching another, basically your best beater.
Yeah.
And even though it can be a little bit inconsistent at times, because of the very nature of how this deck plays, you can take a bit of inconsistency, because the rest of your deck is so consistent.
And also you could just twist it away in the worst case.
Yeah, that's always Twister. The main things I think I twisted was that I sent with Twister was the First Aid Squad when I had enough monsters, enough normal monsters, or the Skull Lair when it just wasn't really valuable. But sometimes when I was really desperate, I would send the Wind Art, even though I did try to keep it until I drew into the Kujaku, just so I can get value, because some of the games you have to wait out till the mid game to start winning. Like, I'd be losing early game because I drew a weird combination of cards, and I'd slowly grind out until I drew into the combination of Kujaku and Wind Art, and most of the games where I resolved that, I just won, because it gains you so much card advantage.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you don't go minus, you just use the Wind Art to shuffle back something, and if you shuffle back, let's say, a Link, you're removing a monster they control, you're taking tempo because of the fact that they just summoned it, and they don't even get to float back into another monster.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, please go ahead.
I was just going to say I'll move on to the side deck now.
Okay,
this is probably the most unique thing about the deck, which was something we kind of theorized. I was theorizing with people early on about the idea of smoke screening being really good in a format where you can see, if you look through people's side decks, they're very undecided, kind of messy, because there's not that many good side deck cards, so people are kind of unsure what to play. And I came to the conclusion that playing this kind of smoke screen with how I can bait out things and make everybody think I'm playing a water deck. Almost everybody sided in Diamond Dust in game 2, sometimes even game 3, And I literally sided out all 12 of my water monsters for the fire monsters, the field spell, and the twister. And it just got me so much advantage because not only do I not lose out on any strength in my deck, since the vanilla beaters are the same stat lines, and now I have the field spell swapped in, but also people are playing dead cards against me, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. So that was definitely a really good strategy.
It's a very simple deck. It kind of has a very linear way of playing, so there's not much kind of, I don't know if there's much too much. It's that complex of a deck, but it just functions in its format quite well.
Yeah, definitely. Like I used kind of a similar strategy in the first tournament where I won. I just like sided in the biggest beater of each attribute to counter each matchup, and I was pretty much the only one who has done that, and I believe that's probably one of the reasons I have really managed to win. So I
Yeah.
believe that is like the smoke screen is definitely very good, and I mean the smoke screen is even a step beyond what I did, but yeah.
No, I definitely agree with that. The vanillas are surprisingly one of the stronger side deck options. It's something people overlook because they don't see the value in the fact that you're usually, for something like water, your biggest beater is always going to be the Gagagigo. So now you just side in your opponent's strongest beater so that you always either crash or beat over their monsters.
Yeah, true. Okay. So, any final words?
I think this list needs to be kind of optimized a bit, especially now that the smoke screen doesn't really have really any value when everyone knows what kind of deck you're on. I think there's some potential to play a more aggressive combo version to kind of keep up with decks like Light and Roids and things like that, by playing swings and playing like limit reverse and stuff like that, so that you can summon out big synchros and big monsters. And maybe that's the way to go with the deck. And well, we'll see in the next tournament.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. Definitely good luck in the next tournament, and
Thank you.
let's see how that will turn out. So, yeah, that's it. So now we are here with the winner of the 4th ACG League, Ambrose, and he played Light just like in the first tournament and managed to win the whole thing with that. So, Ambrose, what was your idea behind that?
Alright, so I think that, I guess I won because there weren't many people playing Light. I think Light is, probably the best choice, and, just not many people were on it.
Yeah, you were just flying under the radar a bit.
Yeah, I think, people just thought for some reason that limiting Luminize to 1 was just, like, too much for it to, like, maintain its dominance, but they were wrong!
Yeah, it seems like.
Yeah. So for the deck list with 3 Dawn Knight, wouldn't play less than that. It lets you send your ghost ship if it's destroyed or when you link into the Hit Potion Ingen link.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it lets you deck thin when you already have the ghost ship engraves. So like if I already sent it, I would probably send a Elemental Hero Sparkman, just to make it more likely for myself to draw into the ghost ship.
Yeah, that's true.
Three ghost ship. That's kind of like what the deck's all about. Rolling out this giant special summon beats. 1900.
True. Ghost ship is so good. I just witnessed like how you recycled him, like all the time with the link and just like continue to loop him, and just so annoying to play against, to be honest, and such a good strategy too.
Yeah, and it's like especially like if you open up a double ghost ship, like you're like 99% of the time gonna win just because you're like able to just like beat them so quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Watt Psychic Fighter, like it's really good. It like lets you stack their like most garbage card on top of their deck. Also, like it like lets you get rid of like their resources that they're gonna try to use. Like for example, in Dark, they have the card the Dark Creator, which requires 5 Darks engraved in order to be able to special summon it.
Yeah, true.
Also, for example, it requires like lights engraved in order to summon the Ghost Ship. So like it's good against both of those. And for that reason, I try to summon the other monsters before Watt Psychic Fighter, just so I can get its effect off. Like when it's like more in the middle of the game.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I have.
Yeah,
Are you gonna say something?
the thing I wanted to mention is I've like just noticed that I find very interesting that you still played 3 Hoshinigan in the main deck. Because like my take on Light was like I thought about it, but then I just threw it out, and like it seems to have worked.
Yeah. So I think like the attack level of like 2000 is like a significant threshold. Like
Yeah,
it
true.
lets you get over that Griffin normal monster,
Yeah.
as well as a couple other things. So just pair the Hoshiningen with like and pretty much any of your other normal summons.
Yeah, especially the
like
Ghost Ship, you don't even have to normal summon it, so you can like in one turn get both out.
Yeah, just both of those, and like you could get over most things.
Yeah, makes sense.
So yeah, I think it was pretty good. Also, like with its low attack, like it becomes higher. Like of course when you have the Hoshiningen and the field spell on the field, which like boosts it up to like 2000 or something.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah. 3 Neo the Magic Swordsman. It's just a generic light beater, 1700.
Yeah.
3 Elemental Hero Sparkman. Kind of the same thing as Neo, a little bit weaker, but yeah, it's able to be accessed through Hero Lives. I don't think the Hero Lives was that great, but I'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
3.
Like one question on that, would you still play Sparkman without the hero lives, or would you ditch him?
Yeah, I think I would still probably play Elemental Hero Sparkman without it,
Okay, I see.
because I think it's like the best option for like having a beater, and it's like the fairy monster for example, they like gives you life points.
Yeah.
Like the reason for kind of like playing that would be to like use the draw spell. I don't think like the draw spell is just a very good in general, because it like makes it so you can't attack for a turn, and also like there aren't like many fairy monsters to begin with, so it's kind of inconsistent. So yeah, 3 Hoshiningen. Like I said, it boosts up all your other monsters, makes them bigger.
Yeah.
3
Makes
3
sense.
Mirage Dragon. This is one of the best cards. It lets you dodge the trap effects that like would turn the game around in your opponent's favor.
Yeah.
But don't. Like the only real trap that like stops this is Windstorm, because they can activate it in their main phase, and then
Yeah, true.
yeah, then they could like beat over it because it only has like 1,000 or so defense.
But even then you force it out, so they have no other option but to activate in the main phase, and if they don't, they're kind of screwed.
Yeah, because they can't like activate it reactively afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you know if they have it if you summon Mirage Dragon.
Yeah.
So then it kind of like gives you a sense of assurance.
True.
And, yeah. One of the MVPs.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
now to the 3 Hero Lives. My logic for including 3 was it's limited in the TCG, so I was thinking it's gotta be great. But I was thinking, oh, he's just like throwing this in there for us to abuse, and then he was like, oh, it's limited or it's banned, you know.
Yeah.
Just like give an incentive for people to like come in and play in the format early. but I don't think it was that great at all. Mostly because of the life point cost. Like with how slow the format is, I just think that life points like really matter.
Yeah.
And
sure.
Unless you activate it like on turn 1 when you have like literally nothing, or when your opponent's already winning and they're like have all your stuff destroyed, it's just a dead card because it requires you have no monsters. So like the most it could possibly do is just be fodder for Parallel Twister. So yeah, would not recommend. 0 out of 10. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's do it.
3 Parallel Twister. It's just like the best generic removal. Like if there's some sort of card you have that's just like not being useful at the moment, you can sack it to pop one of your opponent's cards.
I would totally agree.
Would definitely keep this at 3. But the 2 Twister, I think that like the field spells, people just weren't playing that many of them, but like it would just be good to have it there in case.
Yeah.
And also a cool little interaction. If you activate Twin Twister, just Twister, against someone trying to activate Skull Layer, it basically negates Skull Layer.
Yeah, Amnesty negate.
Yeah, Amnesty negates, bro.
All right.
And three of the light field spell.
Yeah.
An obvious include boosts them by 500 across the board.
Yeah, for sure.
Spiritual Light Art Hijiri. It didn't come up that much, but when it does, it's pretty good. So it lets you tribute one of like your weaker monsters, like Neo Magic Swordsman, for example. And I would bring back Hip Hoshin Engen. The only real reason that it's not that great is because it requires you to be in the late game where like most of the things are established, and of course it requires me to have banished Hip Hoshin Engen with Ghost Ship, and that's not guaranteed to have happened. So it has its pros and its cons. I have one of it in the side in case like I go into a mirror match where I'm also able to use it against their own banished links.
I see that.
Yeah. One Luminize, it's like the best card in the deck, hands down. Like if you draw into this and they attack into you, then
it's just crazy.
Like it's only ever dead if your guy's in defense position because they only boost attack. Which is unfortunate, but you know, and not everything could be tier 0 broken.
Yeah, exactly.
3 Soul Strike. So this is meant to pair with the Hero Lives. It didn't turn out so well because like most of the time it just turned out being kind of a brick, because either I got to Hero Lives later where like it was a dead card, or I just like wasn't at low enough life points to activate it. So yeah, I'd probably lower this down to 1.
Yeah, makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, and 3 Windstorm of Ataqua is just like
it's just good. The best spell protection. Generic wise.
Yeah, just the best generic one. So there's no reason you wouldn't play 3 of this in like whatever list you're doing.
Yeah, I agree completely. So like to sum up, you could say that like the only things that would change are like Soul Strike and the Hero Lives.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the only real things I had a problem with.
Okay.
To the extra deck, I had 3 Hip Hoshin Engen. Would definitely keep this at 3. always had the opportunity to use every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
If I had the opportunity to have 5 in the extra, I probably would, just because there's like not that much extra stuff to play in the format at the moment.
Yeah.
I feel like you probably would be able to go through 5 of them in a game. But of course that wouldn't happen all the time. But
Yeah.
it's a possibility.
Yeah, true.
I had 3 number 102 Star Seraph Sentry, though I never got to summon this thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of badass. 3 level 4 light monsters. With that, because my monsters are kind of like different leveled, like Ghost Ship being level 5, Watt Psychic Fire being level 3, Hoshinengen being level 2, like you're not really able to summon it all that much unless you like use the Sparkman in a Swordsman or like a Mirage Dragon, but I don't want to get rid of the Mirage Dragon because
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it would probably be with the Sparkman and the Magic Swordsman. So it's but yeah, it's just like very situational. I just have 3 of it because it's just one of the only cards I could summon.
Yeah, makes sense.
3 Queen Dragoon Jin.
Yeah.
So it's just the other generic level for rank 4 monster.
Yeah, just with attack points basically.
Yeah, it's basically just a beater. It has like the ability to get back the Rabbit Dragon from grave if you like dump it with Dawn Knight, but I just never used it for that. Or like I haven't summoned either of these Xyzs in the tournament. In general, I guess I just always felt like it was a better move to go into the Link Hippo Shingen.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, so
yeah, I mean, like Rabbit Dragon would be a potential brick also, so that's a thing you have to worry about a bit. So yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, and there I just have the synchros for the aesthetic, with the letters caps and spaced apart.
Perfectly. Okay, so yeah, congrats on your win, and let's hope I hope that you can continue your win streak in the next tournament.
Alright guys, I'm here with the 2 tournament winners of ACG League 3 and 4, Ambrose and Michael B. So let's talk a bit about the tournament results. So why do you think that Light has managed to climb to the top again?
For my perspective, is like people I guess like weren't really prepared for it. It didn't see much play in the last tournament or the one before. I think people just thought that limiting Luminize was too much for it to maintain its dominance, but apparently they are wrong, seeing as I got first place.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Yeah, like I didn't play the normal light monster, which obviously when I was playing normal, you would think it would be a perfect side card, but I just had never went against light in any of the other tournaments since the original ones.
And then it just came out of the blue.
Yeah, so I really didn't expect it.
Yeah.
And that gives your deck such a bonus when people aren't siding for you and people don't know what your game plan is. It just makes it so much harder to play those matchups.
Yeah, definitely. So, and what do you think about Roids? Like, it managed to consistently top like the 2nd time in a row.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's a really interesting deck. I feel like it's the most unique deck in the format right now. It really is in its own zone. It's kind of hard to pinpoint its strengths and weaknesses because it doesn't follow the rules and the kind of, what would you say?
Yeah.
The similarities all the other decks hold with each other. Roids just doesn't at all.
Yeah, it has a very unique playing style. For sure. And it's as when you get the city up, the fact that you can constantly get resources, specific ones you want by searching,
it completely changes the dynamic. It puts you in the kind of driver's seat of the duel. You get to get what you want for the right situation. I think that's very powerful.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if Roid can manage to do something in the last tournament of this format, or even beyond that. Who knows?
Maybe
so
with more support.
so let's
Perhaps.
yeah. So let's talk a bit about Dark here for a second. So
Yeah, this one I didn't even know was a good deck at all.
yeah, I didn't see it coming too. Like I thought that even with the Dark Creator, it wouldn't be enough to make the deck viable, but apparently I was wrong.
But like with Allure, obviously, is always going to be a card that's really powerful in Dark, and then the Bark of the Dark Lord. That's a card I didn't even know about, and it's just so strong. It just, especially with what we have, we don't really have back row removal, so it's very hard to play around cards like that activate in the damage step and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Really, must always lose resources.
Yeah, with the Dark Creator, I think that's what his name was.
Yeah.
It's really good at reviving your stuff, which you can then use to attack your opponent for like a bunch of damage or some other thing, which can be pretty powerful, especially if you're like low on resources and you just like need some sort of comeback to get you back into the game that like the other cards aren't really able to do by themselves.
Yeah, and when you set up the Dark Creator, another thing is then it's something you can always add back with when your Link dies, which is obviously always powerful. As soon as it hits the board, it just changes the entire game. You have to think about the game very differently.
Yeah, like its ceiling is just so good. It just generates advantage every turn, and if you can't get rid of it, like in the near future, you just lose it against it. Like there's no debate there.
Yeah, especially with its 3,000 defense body, like it can just sit there and like as you mentioned, like accumulate advantage to where like the opponent just can't deal with it.
Yeah, so that's probably.
I think really the only problem with Dark I'm seeing right now is, or at least the biggest problem I see, is that it just has a really hard time filling up its graveyard. Some of the other decks have things that can send cards to graveyard and stuff like that.
Well, it has the Dark Crusader, which can discard to boost its attack by 300.
Yeah, but then you just lose some card advantage.
Maybe they should have played 3 of that to just like turbo out the monsters into the grave.
I could see that definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like maybe they should like played through that and maybe 3 creators so they'd like see it more often. Although who knows? Considering like they need 5 monsters in grave, which is a lot of setup. So
I mean, technically you could discard it 2 for cost for the Dark Crusader.
Yeah, that's very true. You can always kind of get it out of your hand and banish it with Allure.
Yeah.
As well, like I would definitely think Dark will start leaning into 3 Allure just because it allows you to dig for the Dark Creator and it allows you to remove the worst Dark in your hand, which is really powerful when we have very little draw cards.
Yeah.
It just gives the deck a lot of consistency that other decks don't have access to.
Yeah, completely true. So, Michael B, that one goes especially to you. Why do you think that Normal has seen a bit less play than last tournament? And why wasn't it so successful?
It's a really interesting question. I think a lot of, in formats like this, it can be a lot of people pick and play decks based on what they enjoy. So it's interesting to think like maybe even if Normal is really powerful, just it might not see that much representation. And then me being one of the people who was playing on Normal, I'm looking back at my list and I'm thinking I really just don't think it's very optimized right now. I haven't done enough testing with it. I think it has a lot of potential, but it's very finicky deck. If you don't get the ratios down, if you play cards that aren't great, you can't really, you have to be very exact with your tempo because you don't have free special summons like the other decks,
Yeah, for sure.
or at least in my build, with a more kind of a beat down deck, whereas you can play it with swings, which is something I'm going to be looking into for the next tournament.
Okay, so you're staying at normal beatdown probably.
Most likely, yeah.
Okay.
I'll consider some other things, but I do think the deck's very good.
So
Yeah, considering the very small pool of like players like within each tournament, like only 8 or so players, like people could easily just like choose like a different deck on a whim, and then like the tournament results would be something that's like not necessarily the best deck, but just like what people chose to play.
Yeah.
Definitely. But are there any predictions for the next tournament? Or the last one for this
It's an
format?
interesting question.
I think there might be some more people playing light, considering like I won, and like it wasn't like dead as a doornail as like people may have thought it was.
Yeah, maybe.
I feel like maybe, I don't know. I think Roid has a lot of potential. I feel like the lists right now are very kind of confused. If you look at most of the Roid lists, they're trying to do like 2 different things at the same time, and they kind of feel like they lack a bit of focus. I feel like if it could pinpoint an exact strategy,
Good point,
Roids
yeah.
could actually take an event.
Yeah, that's true, and I believe that covers it all. So guys, thank you for your insight, for your opinion, and good luck in the next tournament.
All right, light best deck, let's go.